Hi, I'm Anne from Game Like a Mother. I specialize in games that can be played in 20 minutes or less, and this is my list for a Valentine's game night for couples. For my first Valentine's with my husband when we were dating, I got him a cribbage board and it was so fun. I love board games for Valentine's because they're so easy and it's a great way to spend quality time together. The games on this list are all very easy to learn and are thematically on point for Valentine's. I have them all listed in the description of the video along with the timestamp if you want to skip to a particular one. So let's get started. First up, we have Fairy Trails, which is kind of a magical, think like Midsummer Night's Dream theme to it. And the goal of the game is you're placing tiles out into a communal playing space. So you're both playing on the same space. And you are trying to be the first to play all of either your gnome houses or your fairy houses. And you do this by closing off your paths. Once your paths are closed and there's no more routes you can take, you get to place down all of your houses for that space. And the houses are just kind of translucent little stones. They're very pretty and it's very nice to set out. I like this game because the theme is kind of relaxing. It's very conducive to chatting while you're playing, and it is incredibly easy to teach and play. You can pick up this game and set it out, and you've never played, the other person has never played. Not a problem. Super easy. You just have 2 tiles each time, and you pick one to play out, and then you draw a replacement tile. So even if you are a little decision averse, it's not too bad. And there's not really any wrong decisions you can make, especially at the beginning of the game. You can make it work, whatever you're putting out there. And there's also not a lot of opportunity for you to mess with each other as you play. This is a very good couple game night game because you can try to make the other person's path like splinter off a little bit more so it's harder to close off. But then they end up, you're not closing off your own paths while you're doing that. And so it doesn't seem to matter too much. You're able to make it work. So it's just a really pleasant, beautiful game, really easy to play. It does take up a fair amount of table space. So this isn't one to bring to a restaurant. This is one to play when you have a reasonable sized table or you're playing on the floor or something. Then you'll have plenty of space for that. So that's one thing to keep in mind, but it's just beautiful, simple, and really fun to play. Next up, we have Bloom, which is a way to give your significant other flowers without actually giving them actual flowers, especially if you're in my house and you have a cat that eats any real flowers that enter your house. I haven't gotten flowers in 10 years. So this game is a dice game where you're trying to score the most points and you roll a bunch of colored dice and you get to select one and circle that number of flowers on the dice that match the color of the dice. And you either win by finishing off on somebody's sheet. They've collected all of a particular kind of flower 3 times. So all of the pinks, all of the purples, and all of the blues have been collected by somebody. Then the game's over. Or if you've filled in 4 flower beds completely. They have circles around certain sections of the flowers on the little sheet, and that forms the flower beds. So the game, I love games like this because it seems like with dice games, you can always kind of work with what you've got. Even if somebody takes a die that you thought, oh, that would have been really nice for my board, there are other colors that you can select and work with. There's a white, a translucent one that works for any color, and it's like a wild, so it's really handy and helpful to use. There's some white, the clear spots on your sheet that are wild, and so you can do things with that. So it's really nice because the game itself is just incredibly simple. You roll the die and it's pretty clear. Oh, then I circled this number of this color. So it's really nice, but there's enough going on there that I still feel like it's really interesting and engaging. Even though I play a lot of games, it's really fun and nice to play, even though it is just really simple and easy to learn. So it's perfect for a day like Valentine's Day where you just want to have something where it's easy, you can chat during it, but you're still having a really fun time playing the game. Next up, we have Ticket to Ride London. You can go on a very inexpensive trip with your significant other. There's also Ticket to Ride Amsterdam and Ticket to Ride New York if you want to pick a different destination. And this is all of the fun of the regular Ticket to Ride games, which are you're going around a continent or a region, but it's just consolidated into city form. And like regular Ticket to Ride, you're just trying to get the most points is how you win the game. And you get points by either claiming routes or by completing ticket cards, connecting, in this it's different bus stops that you're connecting together. And they have the cute double-decker buses as well that you're using, which is just really fun. And there's a few other elements in this. You also can get points by connecting districts, and there are districts that have different numbers, and that's how many points you get for each of them, which is a fun, different element, but pretty easy to incorporate. So it's just a classic game. The theme is beautiful and really fun, and it's slightly condensed, and it is perfect for a date night. Next, we have silver and gold. You can give your significant other fancy shiny things. The goal of this game is to get the most points. And you do this by filling out these like treasure map cards that are all kind of different shapes. And you flip over cards that have polyomino, kind of Tetris-y type shapes on them, and use those to X out boxes on your treasure cards you've collected. And once you've filled out a complete treasure card, you get points for that. There are bonuses on your treasure map cards. You can have palm tree bonuses, there's gold coins, and there are X's that you can cross out, which then give you a bonus spot you get to mark off on another card, which can be very strategic and fun. And I love this game because it's really fun to play, and primarily you are playing against yourself. It's how you're best able to select cards and fill in the shapes on them. There are some things where there's some interaction. The bonuses, if they beat you to a bonus, they get more points, but it only goes down by one. If they get the 5 gold coins first, they get the points for that, but then it's just one less for you when it's your turn. So it's not anything truly significant. They can select a card that maybe you wanted, because once you've filled out one of your Treasure Island type cards, you get to pick a replacement. And so maybe they've picked the one that was out in the middle of the board that you thought maybe you wanted, but there are plenty of other options, and it's generally not too difficult to find one that you like and you can make do with and still get points. So this game is great. It's great for repeat play, and I like this because it's kind of perfect to play as a couples night first. That's a great way to learn it, and it's one of our go-to games when we're having a game night with another couple. It's a perfect game for two couples to play together because it just seems like it's pretty easy to learn, the theme is on point, and the gameplay is fun, but everybody can chat while they play. So this is just one of our go-to games in general, and it is perfect for Valentine's. And finally, you can play Truffle Shuffle. Yes, you can get some good old-fashioned chocolates for your significant other. This is a game where you're trying to get the most points, and you do that by filling chocolate orders, and the chocolate orders are whatever you want them to be based on the cards you've collected. There is like a pyramid of cards that you place out on the table, and it alternates from being upright to face down. So some of them are mystery cards. You don't know what they're going to be until you draw them, although you know what the color is on the back of the cards. And you have a reference sheet with different orders that you can choose to fill. And they're basically like poker type hands. And so from the cards you've selected, you get to choose what to lay down, and then you get paid for that. You get points, and you play 3 rounds. Whoever has the most points at the end is the winner. I love games like this because, again, it feels like you can kind of work with whatever you get. If the other person takes a card you really wanted, you just pick a different one, and you're able to maybe take it in a different direction. And a lot of times you didn't know what they were going to get anyway, and neither did they, because they were face down. You have so many face cards you're dealing with. So there is a certain amount of luck and chance that goes along with this game. And I really like this at 2 players for kind of a Valentine's night anyway, because we've played 2 players and we've played 4 players, And with 2, it seems like you are able to more easily go for what you want to. There's a lot of, if you go for the same color, that really helps you get the most points most of the time. So you're able to do that in a 2-player game much more easily than in a 3 or 4-player game where everybody's just kind of, somebody's going for the same color as you, then there's not as much to go around. So it's great for a 2-player game. You're going to feel really successful. It's very fun still at 4-player. It's just a little more cutthroat. So for 2-player, perfect way to start out on this game. This is one of our go-to evening games now. It's just kind of, it's relaxing, it's fun, it's competitive, but in a really mellow way. And it's really pretty. The cards themselves are really pretty. We really should play this with a box of chocolates off to the side. I think that would be the optimal way to play this game. But it's a great evening game for pretty much any evening. So that's it for my list for a Valentine's game night for couples. And now I'm going to recite a board game poem I have just made up. Roses are red, violets are blue. I beat you, so go boo-hoo. You can recite that to your significant other after you've beaten them at a game and see what their reaction is. We had to put the kibosh on me doing victory dances because it turns out that was not a help to our relationship. So keep things like that in mind as you play games with your significant other. But I hope you found one that you're excited to play. Have some good quality time with your significant other on Valentine's Day, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time from Game Like a Mother.